Hello, welcome to my craft room. It's Rhoda. Today I'm here to do another challenge, and this is our Think Outside the Box challenge. And what I've got to do is Laura's challenge this week, and hers is using fabric, and you couldn't use it as a flat item like on the cover of a book or like as a tie on a tag. You have to manipulate it or build it up or something in some way. um, I'm hoping mine passes that stipulation. Anyhow, so what I'm doing, I'm taking an index card, and it is a 5 by 8 size index card, and I've tea-dyed it, and it's all ready to go. So then I have all these little scraps of fabric that I had over on my side desk here, where I've been playing with some covers and things like that. And this is like a 1 1/4 inch piece that I'm cutting here. And it doesn't have to be neat. It just needs to be all about the size of 1 1/4 inches. And like I got 2 out of that. Sometimes I had some little frayed edges. Sometimes I didn't. I had some more prettier pieces like this one. Let me cut one of those out. I know the bottom's a little crooked, so let's just cut straight up like that. But I wasn't really sure what to do with the rest of these, and so I got to thinking, well, maybe I could do this for my challenge. And I want to thank you for coming to visit. I hope I give you some ideas today. If you like what you see, give me a thumbs up if you would care to, and a comment. I really appreciate that, and it helps me. I'm slowly growing by leaps and bounds. And it's really going a long way to making me feel like I went in the right direction doing these videos. So anyway, I'm not going to cut the rest of these. I've got a little pile up here that I'm going to show you the first step of this, and I don't want to be cutting myself. I want to show you where I got the idea. Now, I did these the other year, and they're out of paper. And I used one of these paper punches from the, Neanderthal days. This is when the punches started really coming into effect. And it's called Family Treasures. I doubt if that's even in business anymore almost. It was 13 bucks. So anyway, I had cut all of these little pieces of paper out from my scraps because I saw this on Scrapbooking with Me. But I changed mine. She was doing all these little squares and overlapping them just a bit. And then what she did is she just cut them off. She cut the whole top side of the square off. And I said, what a waste. I said, why didn't she wrap them around and do it this way? So that's what I did. And then I did a little sew around the outside edge just to give it some homespun appeal. So then I just went and we did faux washi or something one time where we used vellum, and we coated it with all kinds of different flowers and emblems and all kinds of stuff. So that's where you was to rip it off and add it onto something you wanted to decorate. So that's what I did here. And then I had a sheet that I did for in my journal where it can go in like this. It just has to be trained a little bit. This is my tea ground papers, if you're wondering how I got this effect. This is where when you're doing your tea dye stuff, you open the bag and you just put all these big bunches of tea grounds on there. And then I'll usually put them inside or put another paper on top of it, and then just keep layering it, and the weight kind of gives you the impression there. It's a really cool, like really grungy effect. I love it. So, and this one I did like a little stamp here, a little script stamp, and the word hope and a little butterfly. That's all I decorated that up like. But you can kind of see where I was going. You put it on the front, you go to the back, and so I got that idea to be what I wanted to do for this project. Thank you for coming to visit. Thank you. I hope you like what you see. Come back and visit me again. I'm trying to do I'm doing a lot of videos lately. I don't know how I can keep them up. I'm going to try, but I may have to do a few genealogy expeditions with Zach, and, you know, we got to get to researching on our cemetery book, and, you know, life gets in the way of the fun, you know. Well, that's fun too, but I have a ball doing this kind of stuff. All right, so I got all my little pieces and parts here, and I'm going to show you how I started this project. I've tried to go with the colors that were browns and tans and beiges, a few reds and pinks, something to give it some color. This is the top, so I usually will start on the bottom. So the way I decided to start this project is to do like a little V down here, because I'm going to come back in and sew it. So I don't want the glue to be up here where I'm going to sew. So if you're not planning to sew, you can glue up your whole back of that. But you're only wanting to do half of it right now. So that's what you want to match up your two corners, and you have your V pointing down. Now you're deciding how far apart you want them to be. And, you know, I don't know how much you want to glue or how much work you want to put into it, but I will try to go about that far apart. And you got to remember to judge your distance. You want to line up your corners up there again. This one I'm going to hide. See how it's got a chunk out of it? Don't worry, that can be used. You're going to put it this way, and then that's going to get hidden by the next square that goes down. So that's very usable. Don't worry about that a bit. Everything has a fix. And then we're going to put a little bit on the corner. Try to not let the stringies go all over, and get your right distance from the next one. Sometimes I kind of come up a little bit if the corner's not cooperating. But you just keep going, and you'll be going around. I get to the end, I'm going to actually cheat and go to the opposite side and let you see how I go on from the bottom. Or not the bottom, the back side. I'm sorry. Now, when you get to a corner like this, what I try to do is either I'll match it up and lay it like that, or I'll just try to overlap it in some little way. Oops, I heard something out there. I don't know if that was a cat or what. Let me go check. Yep, that was one of my little kitties wanting in. They don't realize I've got the basement door open, so they can come in at their leisure. Now, sometimes I have to clean my glue nose off because it gets kind of bunched up there because of the buildup. So I'll just get in there and wipe it off with a spare tissue. Like the other day, I was showing you something with a napkin. And those pieces you pull out of your napkin, they would be perfect for like wipe-offs like this. Alright. I'm going to get to a stopping point here. I'm just having too much fun, aren't I? Alright. I think it's material, but it looks like my dad's old boxer shorts from back in the day. Okay, anyhow. Now, we're going to turn it around and go to our back side. And your easiest way, see how they're folded here? Like that one, you would see would fold first, and then that one, and then that one. That's how we're going to go about it. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do the other corner like that. And I'm actually going to smear a couple of them as I go down the line here. So this kind of goes a little faster on this back side. So, see, you're going to fold over there, and then you're going to fold it over here, and then over there. Now, this is in case you are doing your sewing afterward. This is the way to go about it. Now, if you're not sewing, you want to glue it all the way down. So be covering the whole side. Alright, now see, this one is going to be a little tricky. So what I usually like to do is just go down the one side that has the majority, and we're not going to worry about that other little piece. We're going to trim it off. So I'm going to do those. Ooh, got a lot on that one. So we're going to pull this one over and just go down like that. Some of you may not get quite straight, but I don't think it'll matter in the long run, because you've got so many pretty colors and fabrics and things like that to see. Now right here, I'm going to take and show you. I just cut that right off and then get in and do a little better trim on it. You can come back in with a little bit of glue and run in there. I think that's what I did earlier when I had the other corner. You don't want to do too much, just enough to seal those edges. I was trying to see if I could do it where you had raw edges, and I was going to be like this one. I had started this for something else, and I would love to have raw edges like that, but it wasn't going to happen. So this is a piece that I did earlier, and I've gotten around to where I got the whole side done. Now I'm around here going around again. And if you know your rule, you got to find the one that actually will go down flat. And that'll be the one to start with. Now see, I had a little piece here, and I'm going to leave that. I'm actually going to trim that off first, because I think I trimmed afterward before and it didn't work good. It wasn't pretty. It was not pretty. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to cover up that little bit with our glue. So let's keep going. We're going to do this a few at a time like I did before, and boy, it'll make it go so much faster. Well, thank you so much, all my subscribers, viewers, watchers, lurkers, for coming to visit. I'm trying to get a few little things done for my shop. I know somebody asked me what shop, and it's a shop in town. I don't really have a, I don't really sell on my Facebook page, Rhoda's Junk. I have meant to, but I haven't gone around to the point where if I know I can stock both places, if you know what I mean. I just don't know if I can do both. So I had thought to get an Etsy store a while back, but it wasn't going to happen. That wasn't going to happen. Etsy went wacko on their pricing, and everybody was jumping ship. Wasn't that something? So I know a lot of people have Ko-fi sites. I haven't gotten into that yet. If I get a little bigger, more subscribers and stuff like that, I may get to that point, and then I can sell some stuff that way. I think I would feel better. I gotta learn more about it. I'm just in the joy of making at the moment. Now, I usually will get my little pliers. If I got something curling like that, I'll get my little tweezers, and sometimes I have to work something to make it go the way I want it to. All right. So we're going to go ahead and put the cap on this, because I think we're done. We can use our regular glue for the rest of this. And I have glue all over my fingers for one. But I have a pack here that I've almost exhausted, but I love it. It's Field Notes. And that's the one I believe I used. Well, I got the flower from there. And I think I got, yeah, the florist came from there. A lot of the flowers. And I've got mushrooms and a few flowers on this one, and a butterfly. And it really goes a long way. You've got so many different things in here. You've got like large pieces as well. And so if you were looking for a ephemera pack to get, that would be my suggestion. Now, we can go ahead while we're waiting for this to dry. What have I got going there? That's a big fluffy piece. We're going to trim that off. Okay, while we're waiting for this to dry up, we're going to go ahead and arrange our decoration. Now, I can't tell what's the top and the bottom here, so that's good. Because I had a little pink line on the top. All right, so I picked collect, private collection. I've got a group of little mushrooms here. I have a pretty flower. I have a butterfly and a mushroom. So how are we wanting to go about this? I've got a nice empty area on this one. So that one might go nice like that, where the flower is kind of wrapping around it. And then I could do something along those lines. And then maybe do I need to move it over a little bit? You can write on the back side of this thing too. I'm wondering how I want to go about that. Or I didn't know whether I wanted to use both, to tell you the truth. So maybe we'll go something like that. Then we'll bring our little mushroom in. I'll tell you what, we're getting ready this one. We're not going to do the collect. We'll put the little mushroom there. Then we have our butterfly. He can come in here. And then we've got an enclosure. I wasn't sure if I needed that. I did have some reds here. See, I've got the red up there, and I've got a few reds in throughout. So maybe over here I can balance it out and cut off that corner. Yeah, I think that's how we're going to go. Now you got to figure out where everything's going to go again. So we're going to put these out to the side. This is going to go right down here. And this is going to go here. And this is where we want to put down our first piece. And it's going to be right under the rose. That's how I'll remember it. Now, if you'd like to get in here and do you some inking, go ahead. And I don't know. I'm hoping that I've got enough contrast here with the background. And see, I'm not going to worry about trimming anything. Usually that bothers me. But I think with being a different colored background, it's not going to hurt me a bit. I don't know if you've been keeping up with the Think Outside of the Box challenge. I need to throw that in here now. We've been having so much fun. And first it was Tommy. She started us out. That's Paper Crafting with Miss Tommy. And she had acetate as her item. And what she wanted us to do was to not use it like, what was it, glass or a window. She didn't want us to use it like a window, which is usually what you would use it as. So we had that to do, and we all came through beautifully. I think we had, we picked up Laura, that's Craft and See with LauraB. We picked her up, so she came in and started working with us. But next on the list was me, and I picked, what was it? I picked a aluminum foil. Of all things, I picked aluminum foil. But you had to use it, you know, not just pulled off of the roll. You had to do something with it. You had to manipulate it, I think is the way I termed it. So we all had that. And then Ki Young, she went next with a really neat little idea with safety pins. And we all had to meet that. Now, she's Ki Young Shotwell. She's also Wonders by Wink on Etsy. And then we had Laura. She's the one that just went. And I'm doing her challenge now. Hers was the fabric. And we had to use it in some way where it wasn't flat. We couldn't use it on a journal cover or as a spine, something like that, or as tied to a tag. All right, I think my edges are pretty well done. So I'm going to run over real quick and I'm going to do a line around the outside of here. Okay, I'm back. I'm done sewing. I did me a little edge along the outside edge. Now, ooh, I messed that one up a little bit. Now, you can get on here with a little bit of your fabric tack and re-glue these edges down there sticking up. This doesn't have to be perfect. This is nice and rustic. It's rustic and homemade. But this is how we decorated the outside and the inside. And that is my challenge, Laura, met and whatever. So I've got a couple things to show you. My previous video, I did another challenge, and that was Caroline's Craft Tree, and I did this paper towel roll. So I showed how I decorated this and made this out of a round paper towel roll, and you might find that interesting. And I did these the other week. I called them floral specimen pockets, I think. So I had cut out a bunch more of these papers that I was trying to clean that paper pad up. So I have these gentlemen, some gentlemen and some ladies. And this just has a writing surface on the back. I try to use like, I thought of these as, you know, hardware guys. He might be the man that owns the hardware, and this might be his worker. But I've got a bunch of, oh, I need to bring that out and show you. This is another great little pack. This is Curator. Man, I love this little thing. Got these little tiny pieces all throughout it. Look at it, it's hundreds. And I love it. It's Curator ephemera pack. It's snippets. And you need a little tiny snippet for something. Now this one I really fought with it. I didn't know if I did well or messed that up royally. And then I got some die cut flowers. I know he's not a flower guy, but still. And then over here, I tried to pick little snippets that went along with the different colors that I may have already had in the piece. But I didn't decorate the card up itself. That one got a green background because I ran out of the other one. But here's a pretty lady. She's from the Tim Holtz pack. And my buddy Paper Crafting with Miss Tommy. She made me all these pulls. Oh, I'm going through them, girl. I'm going through them. But here, these went really well with the colors that I had. And the backs are, you know, I forgot to show you the backs. They're the paper. I just kind of wrapped it around. But my floral my floral specimen card, you can probably see what I did there. Now, I had to do these purple ones. I was using scraps. So, and then she has some of those little snippets as well. It's a pretty little girl. And then hers has got, hers is the inside, and this one's the outside. So I just kind of, it was a two-sided paper, so I just kind of switched it around. And then we got this guy here. He had teacups on the inside of him. I couldn't get those teacups to work. They were just too big. You couldn't really see them after I cut the window out. So anyhow, that's how that one turned out. And I just put like a little piece of fabric here where I ripped it and shredded it. And this was a piece of some kind of a hand wipe. And it had like a little beehive looking honeycomb look to it. But anyhow, I thought that turned out really good. I was happy with those. I guess they'll be making their way to the shop. But I really appreciate you coming to visit and see what I got up to. And make sure to check in with me again and see what my next project will be. Well, bye. Everybody have a great day.